Hello Golden State Warriors fans, we are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Major trade results of 2023, a colossal setback for the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors' decision to waive Chris Paul on Sunday marked the end of not just the veteran guard's time with the team but also the controversial trade that brought him to the Bay Area just over a year ago. In a move that has been heavily debated, the Warriors traded Jordan Poole, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Rollins, a top 20 protected 2030 first-round pick, a 2027 second-round pick, and cash for Paul, who had been traded by the Phoenix Suns only a week earlier. Chris Paul's departure, a disaster for the Warriors' trade strategy. Throughout the past season, it seemed increasingly likely that the Warriors had made the right call. Paul was useful in most of his 57 games, not $30 million useful, but a productive NBA player who helped ease the minutes burden on Stephen Curry. Meanwhile, in Washington, Poole struggled with the increased defensive attention. He started to find his groove in a sixth-man role late in the season, but his contract remains one of the most burdensome in the league. The Golden State Warriors' trade failure. Now, the Warriors' inability to leverage Paul into anything significant has turned the trade into a colossal disaster. What was supposed to be a strategic move to offload Poole's contract has resulted in a simple salary dump at a time when it wasn't necessary. Poole was still seen as a potential all-star talent, and perhaps he could have thrived away from Draymond Green and in a team with more play opportunities. The Warriors could and should have pursued a better deal than Paul. Why not target Kristaps Porzingis instead? Hindsight may be 20/20, but this doesn't change the fact that the outcome is incredibly disappointing. Missed opportunities and poor decisions. Acquiring Paul was questionable from the start, but the real error was deciding to keep him at the mid-season trade deadline in February. At that point, his expiring contract could have been valuable to a rival team, making him much easier to trade than in recent days. Even in the final hours, the Warriors had a chance to acquire a 20-point-per-game scorer and two-time All-Star in Zach LaVine. Instead, they let this opportunity slip and opted to say goodbye to Paul, gaining nothing but access to the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. The path forward, rebuilding and regrets. In isolation, choosing not to pay Paul $30 million next season was the right call. However, the fact that the Warriors found themselves in this position over the last 24 to 48 hours is a dire reflection of the initial trade. To make matters worse, they are on the verge of losing franchise legend Klay Thompson, with second-year player Brandon Podziemski currently the only viable solution as the new starting shooting guard. They could have had LaVine, or who knows what might have happened if they had kept Poole, despite the unlikelihood. The Warriors had a 36-16 record in 52 games when Curry and Poole started in the backcourt. Now, the Warriors not only need to find more perimeter threats to replace one of the greatest shooters in basketball history but also a competent backup point guard capable of handling minutes without Curry. Warriors secure a valuable replacement for Klay Thompson, instant reaction and analysis. Minutes after news broke that Klay Thompson intends to sign a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks, the Golden State Warriors swiftly moved to secure his replacement in free agency. The Warriors have reportedly signed former Philadelphia 76ers guard DeAnthony Melton to a 1-year, $12.8 million contract, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. Turning adversity into opportunity, the Warriors land DeAnthony Melton. Losing Thompson is undeniably a tough blow for the franchise, but Melton emerges as a solid replacement who adds a defensive edge alongside Stephen Curry. The Warriors used their full non-taxpayer mid-level exception on the 26-year-old, a move made possible only after waiving Chris Paul's $30 million non-guaranteed contract on Sunday. Melton was limited to just 38 games last season due to a back injury, but he posted impressive numbers in 2022-23, averaging 10.1 points, 4.1 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 1.6 steals while shooting 39% from three-point range on over 5 attempts per game. From a second-round pick to a key rotation player. Originally the 46th pick in the 2018 draft, Melton started his career with the Phoenix Suns before being traded to the Memphis Grizzlies, where he established himself as a solid rotation player. His value soared further after being traded to the 76ers in June 2022, starting in 91 of his 115 games over the last 2 seasons. Melton boasts a career three-point shooting percentage of 36.9% and averages an impressive 1.4 steals per game. A strategic acquisition for Golden State. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches, Melton aims to rehabilitate his value following an injury-plagued year, positioning himself as a valuable addition to Golden State, similar to how Dante DiVincenzo and Otto Porter Jr. contributed during the Warriors' 2021-22 championship season. Melton is likely to have the inside track to the starting shooting guard position, ahead of this year's all-rookie first-team member Brandon Podziemski, with Moses Moody also a potential, though less probable, candidate to fill Thompson's shoes. Klay Thompson parts ways with Warriors, instant reaction and analysis. The Golden State Warriors bid farewell to Klay Thompson, who is signing a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. The era of the Splash Brothers, the core that defined an entire decade of NBA dominance for the Warriors, has officially come to an end. A shocking yet inevitable departure. For weeks, it seemed this moment was approaching. Talks between Klay Thompson and the Warriors were reportedly stalled, but to see it actually happen feels surreal, given all that Klay and the Warriors have endured together. Thompson is leaving Stephen Curry and the organization that believed in him to join another Western Conference rival. Competition for Klay's signature was fierce at the start of free agency, but ultimately, the Los Angeles Lakers and other suitors were outbid by the team offering the clearest path to contention, the Dallas Mavericks. Thompson is heading to Dallas on a 3-year, $50 million contract. The painful goodbye. The Warriors built their dynasty on the elite shooting of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. They proved that sharpshooters could win championships, reaching 6 NBA Finals together. Now, Klay is moving on, feeling disrespected by the franchise he served for so long. This offseason has been a disaster for the Warriors. They believed they made a competitive offer for Paul George from the LA Clippers, only to be rejected and see George sign with the Philadelphia 76ers. Feeling sidelined by the Warriors' pursuit of other options, Klay chose to leave rather than try once more with a team that likely would have offered him more than Dallas did. Warriors in disarray. Unable to find another trade, the Warriors were forced to waive Chris Paul's contract or risk paying the full $30 million guarantee, only to watch him sign with the San Antonio Spurs. Meanwhile, Western Conference teams are getting stronger, and the Warriors seem to be slipping back into the pack. Mavericks' bold move. The Mavericks plan to start Klay on the wing, where he will be lethal playing alongside Luka Doncic. Despite some decline in his defense, Thompson remains a deadly shooter and will help balance the Mavericks' offense and defense as they aim for a return to the NBA Finals. To accommodate Thompson, the Mavericks offloaded Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract, creating a trade exception to acquire Klay. They also traded Derrick Jones Jr. for Najee Marshall, who left the New Orleans Pelicans' crowded wing rotation to join Luka and the Mavericks. Next season's starting lineup will feature Kyrie Irving, Doncic, and Thompson, with Marshall or PJ Washington at the 4 and Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively 2 at center. This is a formidable group, especially with Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, and Maxi Kleber bolstering the rotation. Finalizing the deal. The Mavericks found a landing spot for Josh Green in Charlotte to clear cap space for Thompson's new $50 million deal. However, they still need to iron out the details of the sign-and trade with the Warriors to make the move official. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive player interviews, event coverage, live shows, and more.